Well, salutations, kindred spirits. Hey, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a few weeks. I've been busy adding some chapters to my biography, the least of which is a injury suffered during a card trick, no less, and I'll tell that tale in just a moment. Let's start a few weeks back. It was my birthday week. It's actually mine and my wife. Happy birthday, Erin. We have the same birthday, August 21st. Well, we were sick, had an illness, flu-like symptoms like COVID, right? Wasn't COVID. We tested twice for negative for that, so thank goodness for that. But it was a week plus that we had this cough and stuffy head. So I put the channel on hold. I had to cancel some member events. Apologies to the members, especially those of you who had to miss the live one-on-one sessions. I'm back in business, and we're going to catch up over the next couple weeks. I promise. Stick with me. But yeah, we were sick, just getting over the hump. I'm ready to start thinking I can get back to work and get in the studio. Well, out in the Gulf, Hurricane Ida swirls up within 3 days and just suddenly bullseyes right for New Orleans. It was aimed for the west side, but it came really close to the city, which is one of the reasons we didn't evacuate. It was kind of pointed west. But long story short, we're out of power. We're out of power for what was predicted to be up to a month, as one of the transmission lines for the energy fell into the river, and it was a major deal. But long story short here, we had to be on the road for what was 2 weeks, about 2 weeks, maybe longer. So yeah, we evacuated after a couple of nights in the miserable heat, and let me tell you, that was a process. First of all, I packed up the studio, all my magic. My intent was to stay working. If we were going to be gone for a month, I wanted to go somewhere I could work. To do that, we had to pack the cats in the car. Boy, that was an interesting experience, and it remained interesting through the 6 or 7 hotels on our journey. Not once did any of them want to go into the car or into the kennels. There were injuries, some scars probably still hanging around here from these melees. We love our animals. They just don't love kennels. But that's a side story. Here's what we decided to do. We decided to evacuate to Colorado, and there was a couple of reasons for this. One, it's a dream destination for me, always has been. Erin had been there before, but she really wants to move there. So before I moved there, I wanted to see it. So when she said, "Do you want to go to Colorado?" I said, "Yeah, I do." It's also a very popular place for street performing or buskers. They have Boulder, Colorado, Denver's possible, Fort Collins. So I knew that I could get to work. I could go up there and do my street performing show, probably get some short form videos, So we finally get to Fort Collins, Colorado. That was the most reasonable place we could find hotels for on this Labor Day weekend. And let me tell you, that was not very reasonable. Hotels are insanely priced in Colorado. Didn't plan for that, and that got worse as I went to work my first night in Fort Collins. So I arrive at this pitch, which I'd scoped out earlier in the day. It's a beautiful spot, and I find it's a little bit slow. The locals lamented the same thing. Apparently there was a college football game going on that was drawing all the local energy. But I set up anyway. I see my opportunity, I take it, and happily, right off the bat, literally within 3 minutes, I've got my first edge going. I've done a coin trick in the linking rings. Now I got 10 or 12 people ready to watch, and I decide to go into a B routine in order to build this crowd, take a little bit longer. And for me, this is going to be the invisible deck. It's going to be a good interaction with some audience members, and I'm going to take the opportunity here to elevate my show. And this is something that street performers will do to lure with spectacle. If you can get your act higher, either by standing on a stage, or jugglers will go up on a 6-foot unicycle or on a rollabola, and magicians can do this just by kind of stepping on higher things. And I'd strategically placed my act near this stoop that had a 1-foot riser and a 3-foot riser, which I didn't intend to use, but at some point I made the choice that I was going to get on this 3-foot fence thing behind me and try to broadcast my spectacle to a larger audience. Well, on my way up to the top of this thing, that's the visible side, I face planted straight to the ground. I didn't face plant. My hands hit first. Apparently my rib hit next because my rib is broken. My rib is broken, and I injured my hand as well. Thankfully, the hand is not broken, but it sure felt like it was for that time. So yeah, I get up here, and then boom. So I get up, my knee's banged up, my shoulder. Turn off the camera. That's it, folks. Show's done. I'm shaking from adrenaline and just, worried I might be seriously injured. Well, this kid over here who had picked the invisible card is still holding the invisible. He's still holding it, the invisible card. And I wish I had left the camera running because I actually finished this show. I said, okay, let me get the invisible deck. And I'm like shaking from adrenaline. He puts it back. I finished the trick. He picked the 3 of clubs. I found it. And I actually got some tips. I got some gratuities from that horrible experience. But what this did for me, it did this. It provided proof of concept. Now, if I'd gone to Colorado and fell off the steps walking in the hotel and broke a rib and busted my hands, I'd be really upset. But if I had not got to do a show, but I got to do that show. I got to go to the pitch on a slow Friday night, and despite that evaluation, was able to instantly start doing my job. And then just Murphy's Law happened. I made a bad choice and I hurt myself, and for that reason I was unable to continue working through the rest of the trip. Because of this and this, we ended up leaving. We set our sights for Oklahoma City, where we had a reasonably priced hotel room and stayed there for a couple days. It was great to see some of the Oklahoma magicians. How y'all doing? John and company, good to see you guys. And then 2 days later, we get news that the power might be back on. So we point our caravan to New Orleans, and a couple of days later, we did get power. And wow, that is the end of the tale. That's 3 weeks of hardship boiled up into about, what was that, 5 minutes? I don't know, 5. So yeah, we're getting back on track. This week, it's going to be a little challenging as I'll be trying to perform magic one-handed. I can take this thing off. I try not to because sometimes I do things that just hurt. Sometimes this hand doesn't want to do particular things still. So we're going to do some one-handed and or self-working magic for the remainder of the week. I do intend for that to be part of our weekly Wednesday magic lesson. Yep, that's going to happen. I'm going to do a live this week as well. I'm thinking Thursday, but I'm not fully committed to that, as I do want to devote some attention to my members who are kind enough to spend some money with me on this platform and have been woefully lacking any new material from me in the last few weeks. Apologize, and yes, we will get back on track. I'm very excited to be back in the studio. I have renewed vigor, and with that, once again, I'll thank you for your patience, and as always, thank you for your time, your attention, your energy, greatly appreciated. And hey, I'll see you on the next one, which should be Wednesday. Stay tuned.